Tech OG here, representing those who are 40 and up who love their tech. And this video is going to be take 3 of my retro emulators that I use on my GPD WIN /PC. Well, mainly this video is going to show you them on the GPD WIN. And the reason why this is going to be my third take on it is because the first one, like I said, I was doing the one at a time in separate videos, but ended up stopping that because the main emulator video that I made was an hour long, and that was a little bit too long. Even though I liked it, it was cool to me. So the second take was I just told you about the emulators that I've used and how they're used and why I picked them, but I didn't have any gameplay in that video. And now there's another day and my head's fresh and I'm not tired like I was when I made that second take video last night. Now I'm going to talk about one emulator at a time, but put it all in one video and show at least one game to show you that the games work with the emulator. And what I'm excited about too, that I'm going to include in the video, is in the second take of my What's in My Tech Bag episode 4, I told you that I have this 8-bit DOE 0 controller to be used as a second controller on here, and just paired this to my GPD WIN and tried it out. And to tell you right now, I'm excited because this actually works with the GPD WIN as a second controller. So what I'm going to do is, again, show you the emulators that I use, why I use them. Let me turn this back on for you. Give me a second. Gee. There we go. Why I use them and show you a little bit of gameplay on each emulator. So without further ado, here we go. This first emulator is called Citra, and this emulator emulates the Nintendo 3DS handheld game system, which surprisingly looks like this. And on the GPD WIN, this runs fairly slow, but it does run. And so let me show you a little bit of gameplay on here. Now on the 3DS, you can link between different 3DSs to, I guess, play 2-player games. I've never done that before, but I don't have any means of doing that, so I can't show you the power of using the 0 with the GPD WIN. So let me just show you a little bit of gameplay on the GPD WIN using this emulator. This game is Pokemon Sun, running on the Citra emulator, running on my GPD WIN. As you can see, it runs pretty good. You can save the game as if you're on or using an actual 3DS, which I do have, and I'll do a video on that another day. This runs pretty good. I'm still getting used to things. But as you see, this is pretty cool that it actually runs at a pretty good speed. Let's get through the story. Let's get outside. B button runs. Running pretty good. Not bad. Now that I've gotten past some of the story, this is gameplay. That correction, I didn't get past all of the story yet. Well, this just shows you how it runs. Let's see, let's take a look on the bottom. It shows you the speed of the game running right now. Right now it's at 50% of full speed. Okay, I'll come that way. I was just showing my viewers how the game runs and what speed. So as you can see, it's playable. It is playable. So that is the Citra emulator, which is a Nintendo 3DS emulator on my GPD WIN. Can't wait to play this game. Even though I have a 3DS that runs full speed. This next emulator I want to show you is it's an older emulator entitled Visual Boy Advance. This one emulates the Game Boy Advance, the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. And I like this one because, yes, it runs full speed because it's the old system, of course. It's the old system, okay, and it has a fast forward button feature, which I set to the outside shoulder button. Speed to this real quick. Wish I did that with the Citra emulator. And one of the main reasons why I like it is because it has a cheats feature where you can search for cheats, but I'm not familiar with that. I just go to the cheats list because you can input cheat codes yourself. So you can input Game Shark or Code Breaker cheats that you find on the internet, put them in here, and you can play your games with cheats and get through the game quicker than normal. As you can see, it runs very fast. Fast forward. Whoa, get off me. It runs incredibly fast. Runs fantastically on the GPD WIN. Let's get to a couple more rooms, show you more. No lag whatsoever. Here, show you the map, fast forward. Get right back into the action. That's what I really like about this. The fast forward button is awesome. You can save on here. Oh yeah, you can save using just the regular save features in the game, or you can load and save states through the file. So if you want to save the game right here, right now, without just finding a save room, press that, and it saves your state. It takes a couple seconds to save, and then let me show you how that works. So I'm gonna move up here, stop, and then load my state, which was further down. So when you load state, you go to load state, press that, and then boom, look at that. Runs great, runs perfectly. So that is the Visual Boy Advance, and this emulates the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. This next emulator, I've done a video on this one that lasted an hour long, but I want to try this, just show you a quick game again, because with this one you can actually play 2 players with a second controller. So when I attach this to Velcro onto the case and go somewhere and play the game, and someone says, yo, can I play? That game looks hype, haven't seen that before. Compare this, it's already paired to my GPD WIN, and you can play a 2-player game right here on the GPD WIN. So let me set this down and show you how that works. Uh-oh, Houston, we have a problem. It's because I turned this on first. No, find out what the problem was. The desktop was highlighted. This wasn't highlighted, so I had to press the mouse button to highlight the emulator so that works. There we go. I thought something broke. So I've already set up or configured this to the GPD WIN, and I'm going to press the second coin button. So now you can select 1 or 2 players. So I can press start on here for 1 player, start here for 2 players. So that's a 2 player. Now let me press the start on the GPD WIN to show you. Look at that. Oh, the black hair is 2 player, one with the yellow hair, blonde hair is 1 player. Look at that. That is awesome. So this is second player. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And now I'm going to shoot with the second player and move with the first player. Look at that. That is hype. That is too hype. Too hype. Too hype. 2 players on MAME emulators. And there are a ton of 2-player games for the MAME emulator, so you will have hours, days, months of fun. So, if you're interested in the Zero Bluetooth controller, I will leave a link in the description. I got this from Amazon. This is my second one that I bought. The first one I took to school. I'm going to give it to one of my students. But I'm going to just take it back because I can use it for 3 players. And that is cool, especially when you're playing Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. If you ever played that at the arcade, that is a hype game for 4 players. So this is the MAME emulator showing you 2-player action. This next emulator is an emulator for the Nintendo 64 game system, and the emulator of choice that I use is called Project 64. Why do I like this one? I'll show you. Not only does it run at full speed, it has a cheats option right here under System. If you press cheats, the cheat codes for games are already embedded in the emulator. You do not have to manually put in any cheat codes unless there's a cheat that you want in the game that's not already listed here. Now, one thing I will mention, if you do have this emulator, if you select infinite energy and breath, this does not work. So you probably have to tweak the code to get it to work, but you can still be invincible because they have another option of you being invincible, and that's under here. Don't hurt Mario from falling, and for monsters, actually let me uncheck them to show you that you can get hurt at first. There's a little Goomba. Goomba, come and get me. Oh, see it. I'm hurt. Ouch. Go to system, go to cheats. Now go to, where is it? Don't hurt Mario. Falling or monsters. Get out of there and watch this, watch this. Come back over here. Hurt me. Can't do it. Go right through me. You go right through me. Now you can play the game without too much worry. If you want to beat it and you couldn't beat it before, let's go over to the bomb. The big bomb. Hurt me. And there you have it. This is the Project 64 emulator running one of my favorite games. And I have not even beat this yet. To tell you the truth. I have not beat this yet at all. Running Super Mario 64. Watch this. Don't even worry about it. Woo! Go right through it. Woo! And you know about this trick. Teleportation. Go right up to the top. And there you go. That's a Nintendo 64 emulator entitled Project 64. Next emulator I want to talk about is the emulator that emulates the Nintendo DS system. This one is entitled Desmume. D-E-S-M-U-M-E. And this emulates the game really, really well, or games really, really well. Speed is on point. played before. No thanks on the tutorials or helps. Let's see. What's really cool about this one as well, just like the Project 64 emulator, this has cheats. It has a cheats menu. You go to list. When you first play the game for the first time, no cheats are listed here. So what you have to do is go to the cheats base, and they're already embedded in the game. So no manually inserting the cheats. And you select the cheats that you want to have in the game. You check one, and let me just do this for purposes. You press add, and that cheat will be added right here. It says power ups, mod codes. I already have 3 cheats already selected. So we'll get out of here, and my cheat selected, I am invincible. You saw that? Hit me. Suck you in. A little bit of stutter, but who cares about the stutter? It works. I'll get my little friend to help me out. Look inside of here and get me. Oh, no. I want his power. There we go. So now I got sword power and beam power. And with the 8-bit Go Zero Bluetooth controller, you can play 2 players with this. I never did that yet. Get him so I can beat him up. Eat him up. Yeah. Now I got the bomb power. I don't need food because I am invincible. Let's run fast. Let's run fast. Well, there you have it. That is basically gameplay on the Nintendo DS emulator entitled Desboom. Like I said, a little bit of stutter, but who cares? It works. Oh. As with a lot of emulators, you do have save states and load states, so you can save the state right here. Move up, and then watch this. As you can see, it says save to slot 1. If you go to load state, and let's say you're playing and you're not using cheats, and you get out somewhere, load the state from where you last saved it at, and then you get to play it all over again and again and again. Get better at it, and there you go. So that is the Nintendo DS emulator entitled Desboom. This emulator right here is an emulator for the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES for short. And this one is entitled JNES. And this one will allow you to use 2-player action. So here is my 8-bit Go Zero controller compared or already configured to the emulator. So I'm going to try to show you. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. Why aren't you working? That's a good question. I don't get it. Oh, it does work. There we go. There we go. So here's the second player right here. And I just made a foul. And I'm going to use the first controller to try to shoot. Give me that. Somebody get the ball. The white is 1 player. And the green is 2 players. So there's a green 2-player. That's the 8-bit Zero. I'm going to shoot. Booyaka. Switch to 1 player. Oh yeah. Go back to 2-player. Oh, give me that, give me. And there you go. 2-player action on here, so you can play Contra, all your 2-player games, Ninja Turtles. Actually, no, Ninja Turtles was a 1-player game. Since I play normally by myself, I have a whole ton of 1-player games, but I have just a couple of 2-player games that I can play. And it works quite well. Again, that is the JNES emulator, showing you 2-player action. This next emulator I'm showing you is for the PlayStation 1. This emulator is entitled EPSXE, and this is a fantastic emulator that emulates, again, PlayStation 1 games. PlayStation came out, I believe, in 1995. I remember because I took the day off just to buy it and played the heck out of it. I played Battle Arena Toshinden and loved it, because this was a step above playing 2D 8-bit games or 16-bit games on the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. So to see 3D games, this was quite amazing. And what sets this emulator apart from others is that this one has an option to cheat. So if you want to play some games, and the cheat codes are already embedded. Well, technically they are. What you're going to need are cheat files for the games. Now you can make these. I think these are made by somebody, and I happen to find a zip drive with all of these cheat files inside. Had to download them onto my GPD WIN, or actually the micro SD card, and it took a while because there are hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of cheat files. As you can see here, the drawbar on the side is going down kind of slowly, and I got tons of games. So once you put the cheats in the cheats folder, and when you start a game, press escape to get back to the desktop, and then what you need to do is go to options and go to cheat codes. And if there are if there's a cheat file for the game that you're playing, you will see cheats for the game in this window here. So the ones that you want, you just highlight them. You can press Control to highlight more than one, and then press Enable. And these cheats that you want enabled in the game are now enabled. So what you do now is go to run continue to play the game with the cheats on. Takes a minute to load, but who cares how long it takes to load? I don't care. I'm just happy that it works. Yes, Ray. I'll take Ray. I wish there was a fast forward button, but it's not. Who cares how long it takes? You're able to play in the palm of your hands. You can't get rid of you can't. Uh-oh. My dude is invisible. Oh, he's invisible because he's invincible. So if you want to see where you're standing, shoot. That kind of sucks, but who cares? It really sucks. So let's shoot the guns first. This just shows you that the game runs very, very fast, very well. But it sucks that when you're invincible, I just press escape to get back to the desktop. Let's turn it off. Player 1 is invincible. Let's disable that and see if there's another. Player 1 is immune to all bullets. Let's enable that. Press OK. Let's see if The character returns. Yay, the character returns. So now you can see. Now you can see. Now that's better. Bang, bang, shoot 'em up. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, shoot 'em up. Bang, bang, bang. Runs very, very smooth. And this game sucks. Konami, where's the music? But as you can see, it runs buttery smooth. And cheat codes are on, you're good to go. Go down, Tank, go down. Ha 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 ha. And there you have it, that is the This next emulator is an emulator for the PlayStation 2 console, and this emulator is entitled PCSX2. This is one of my favorite emulators, and I am going to show you gameplay of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, one of the coolest fighting games ever created. I'll get you to it. This is just for gameplay purposes. There's no fast forward button. As you can see, it runs at full speed. So I'm going to pause it first. Pause it because I'm going to get to the configuration menu and show you a couple things you can do. You can save and load states, which is kind of great. You can enable cheats. However, I have not been successful yet as to getting cheat files to work, so I'm going to figure that out and show you in a future video how that works. But you can still cheat or use cheat codes on here. All you have to do is get a code breaker ISO or Game Shark ISO and select the codes from the ISO for the game you want to use cheats on, and then you basically swap this with the swap disk feature. And I'm trying to remember how that works. Well, pretty much with the code breaker, because I use that one more than the Game Shark one. You select the codes that you want, and then when it tells you to start game, you basically keep that window up, but then you swap disk. In the swap disk, you go back to here, go to ISO selector, select the game that you found cheats for, and then after you find it, a pop-up window will show up and say, are you sure you want to swap this? So you select OK, then go back to the window with the code breaker and then highlight it, press X to start the game, and then your game will start with cheat codes. Again, I'll show you how to do that in a future video, but again, this has save and load states. It runs very fast. Yeah, I'll take a minute to find there, as you just saw. Oh, no. Ouch. That hurt. That was a little bit slow. A little bit slow. With some tweaking, you can get it at full speed. No problem, because I've done it before. This just shows you that it does work on here. And you can probably pair a second controller to here to play two players. But there you go. This works great. I love it. Like I said, you gotta tweak it to work at fast speed. And there you have it. This is the PSX2 emulator for the GPD WIN. Works fantastically. For PSP games, I use the absolutely wonderful SSPP emulator. You can use the mouse to go through the games, or you can use a controller, either or. Find the game that you want. Let's say we're just going to go into Castlevania. Now, if you press this triangle on the top, it'll get you to the save and load state, so you can save and load throughout the game, rather than going through the regular saves through the game. So let's say I load my state right here. Perfect. Now, I already have cheats already embedded. Yeah, the cheats are not actually embedded in the emulator. You have to get a file called cheats.db. DB stands for database. You can find that online. Just type in ppsspp cheats database file, and you'll find that on Google. And you'll have to put that in a particular folder. And when you do want to cheat, when you first use the emulator, the cheats menu does not appear here at first. So what you need to do is go to settings, go to system, scroll down where it says enable cheats, check that box, go back, and then it will appear right here. And at the beginning, the cheats will not be selectable here. So the first thing you need to do is import the cheats database. So you have to file a path to the cheats database, and when you do that, press cheats again. Your cheats for the game will appear here. I've already have cheats selected, so you just press continue. Oh, cool. I didn't know about that. That's the first time I did that. Sweet. Controlled by the... Oh, it has a fast forward button. Controlled by the directional pad. I'm going to switch that later to the analog pad. When you're playing yourself, you can read through the story and as you can see, it works quite well. I just gotta remember which button does what. Oh, nice one, nice one, nice one. And there you have it. So you can go back to your triangle button and then save the state, and it will save. Takes a minute, then go back to here. The same menu, you can continue the game, or you can exit to the menu and select another game. And as you can see, because I have a 400 gigabyte micro SD card in the GPD WIN, I've put on a ton of game on the card so that I can play whatever I want when I want on the go. So there you have that. Is the PSP emulator entitled PPSSPP. For multi-Sega console, retro console game emulator, I use one called Fusion. And this one emulates the Master System, the Game Gear, the Sega Genesis, and the Sega CD. And you can manually input Game Genie or Pro Action Replay codes to cheat on the games, if just in case you can't get past certain levels or whatever. So let me show you how a game works. Let's get down to a game that a lot of people would love to play. No, not Fantasy Star. Fantasy Star, that's for me. I love role-playing games. Let's go through Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And you can most likely pair your second controller to this so that you can play two players. One plays Sonic, one plays Tails. Cool stuff. As you can see, it runs buttery smooth. Speed is there. Everything is here. So you're good to go. Now let's see what happens when you want to open to this. Full speed. Oh, look at that. Full speed. Look how fast that is. Beautiful. So full speed all the way through. And there you have it. This that's for the Genesis. So let me just pause this and show you another game system. Let's try Master System. So you got to go to your folder with your Master System games. Here's mine. Alex Kidd in Miracle World. Yo, I remember this game. I had the Master System when I was a kid. I never beat this game ever. But it was fun. It was fun as heck. Look at that. Look at that. Alex Kidd in Miracle World. You already know what's in this box. The ring. Fire ring. Ha 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 ha. You have to be really precise. That one's death. You don't want to open that one. But there you have it. That is the Sega Master System. And let's try Game Gear. Not sure if I have any Game Gear games on here. Let's check. Let's see. Master System Game Gear. I do. Perfect. And they're all role-playing games. How fortunate for me, unfortunate for you, because role-playing games can be boring for a lot of people. Not for me. Let's end. As you can see, it all works. So again, you can do Master System, Game Gear, Sega Genesis, and Sega CD. I don't have any Sega CD games on here right now, but you know that they work. And that again is the Fusion emulator that emulates a multiple of Sega consoles. I don't have these configured, but I'll just tell you the names of these again. For the Sega Dreamcast, I use Shankast, Chankast. Once you configure it, it will work. I've tested it before on previous GPD WINs that I've owned before. For Saturn, I use one called, believe it or not, Saturn, but it's spelled Saturne. And once you configure it, it will work on your system. For Super Nintendo, I use this one called BNES. Is it BNES or BSNES? It's BSNES. BSNES, that's funny. Anyway, this one is great. I like this one. I found this one maybe about a month and a half ago. I was using another one called SNES -EX. I think it was a dash in there. And that one was Windows based and also DOS based. And you can manually insert game Genie codes in there. But this one right here, this one's a newer emulator. And what's cool about this one is that this can emulate Super Nintendo and NES. And with the Super Nintendo, there are cheat codes already embedded in the emulator that you don't have to manually insert. And you can select those cheats and get started playing games to get through them really, really fast. There's a small fast forward, but it's not that fast. As you can see, I'm invincible, la da 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 da. With that switch. And as you can see, it runs buttery smooth. Get out of here. And buttery smooth. Give me that heat-seeking missiles. Yes. I want the lasers. Lasers suck. So you can seamlessly go through the game. Buttons work. Everything works. So again, this is the BSNES emulator that emulates Super Nintendo games. And oh yeah, it does have, oh yeah, you can play 2 players, so I can pair my 8-bit DOS Zero controller to this. It does have save states and load states. Let me try to find them. hope it does. There we go. So roll quick save and save quick save. So you got 10 slots for saves and 10 slots for loads. So it has everything that you need and the cheat code, so it runs great, again, buttery smooth. And again, that's the BSNES emulator that runs Super Nintendo games. I know I have the TurboGrafx emulator set up on here, but the one I use is called Ootake, spelled OOTAKE. You just set that up and it should work well for you. And the TurboGrafx came out after the Genesis and before the Neo Geo. And the last emulator, actually, 2 more emulators. This one right here is the Wii U emulator. It does work on here, but the games run really, really slow because this is a low-end computer. But the games do work. I'm not going to show you one because, like I said, they run really, really slow. Just have to try that out for yourself. But trust me to say that it does work on the GPD WIN. Like I said, just really, really slowly. And the last emulator I want to talk about is the Dolphin emulator that emulates Nintendo Wii and Nintendo GameCube games. Now this particular one, usually the icon is blue, but this particular one, this one is a custom emulator that someone tweaked on their own that allows you to play games a lot faster, especially on low-end computers such as the GPD WIN. And this one is the Ishiruka, ISHIIRUKA, and this one again is a custom Dolphin emulator that runs the games definitely a tad bit faster than just a regular Dolphin emulator. And to show you proof of concept, let's go through the game. One of my favorites, Mario Kart Dash or Mario Kart Double Dash. Let's do 60 megahertz. As you can see up here, frames per second, 60. It is running buttery smooth. I tried it at 50 first. I tried it at 50 yesterday. Please tell me this runs better at 60 hertz and 50 hertz. And no stuttering. If it does, oh my gosh. A little bit of stuttering. We're slow down with the audio. Oh, it's a little bit slow. It's a little slow. Running at 54 frames per second, so a tad bit slower than 60. Not too bad though. And now 49, 51, it fluctuates. As long as you can play without a lot of stutter, you should be good to go. And there you have it. This is the Ishiruka Custom Dolphin Emulator. And from what I've read, from what I've read online, the best one to use on the GPD WIN is the Ishiruka build number 744. This one is build 758. So if this one is running like this, and I didn't even tweak anything, the 744 is going to be your best bet and runs a lot faster. So there you have it. That is the emulator, Dolphin emulator for the GPD WIN. And there you have it. Those are all of my emulators that I use on the GPD WIN. If there are more to use, I will find them and make future videos. I hope you liked the video. And I'm glad that I was able to put at least one game to show you the gameplay on each of the emulators. If you did like the video, definitely leave a thumbs up. And If you have any questions or want to leave some comments, definitely do so in the comment section. Please subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends about my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video.